Hello, my name is Alex Wang, and today I'll be presenting on immigration and discrimination in the United States. Imagine for a moment that our country was to be taken over by a communist uprising. There's now more restrictions on your day-to-day life, massive legal reforms to remove your rights, and riots and havoc run wild in the streets. Eventually, you decide that enough is enough, and you will be taking you and your family out of the country to seek asylum elsewhere. Questions begin to swirl in your mind. What will you take? Where will you go? How will you fare? Who will help you? This is not a pretend scenario, though. This was the story of my young mother and her family escaping from Vietnam in her youth. Her parents made the difficult and admirable decision to leave behind all their possessions, their home, their jobs, all for a better chance at a better life for their family. My mother's story is one of countless others. In fact, thousands of immigrants every year flee political or religious persecution from their native land. Regardless of any stories of bravery or sacrifice, there remains a large amount of anti-immigrant sentiment that lingers in the common attitude of Americans. This ideology has led to unfair legislation and discrimination that plagues the well-being of immigrants and diminishes the courtesy and rights that should be for all. Immigration laws and other legal restrictions that exist in America are overly complicated and strict, often requiring extensive prerequisites or wading through massive wait lists. They also have a large fee associated with all facets of the immigration process, from application fees to lawyer fees and even living fees. This also leads to negative health effects on immigrants and other undocumented citizens. A scary and recently unresolved issue are the existence of ICE boxes, a migrant detention center where undocumented immigrants are being held to await trial or after being caught trying to cross the border. Kept in freezing cold cell blocks and with no ways of cleaning themselves, some meet their untimely demise while inside. Those inside have also experienced a sharp increase in mental illness and physical trauma. Combined with their lesser amount of access to affordable health care, mistreatment in these detention centers, and the COVID-19 pandemic, the well-being of these people is on the heavy decline. Here are some side effects of the current system and its failings. The barrage of complicated paperwork and know-how needed to navigate the legal system is often too much for even most well-educated Americans. The current state of immigration conditions has led to a huge rise in mental illnesses such as depression, PTSD, and anxiety. There is also an obvious lack of humane treatment inside of the ICE boxes. Families are often separated from each other for years at a time from either the waiting list associated with immigration or other issues like long-term imprisonment. We can see a model of the average amount of years that immigrants have to wait for a green card application. The number of years waiting since 1991 has doubled to just around 5 by 2018. The current system is being overwhelmed and is simply not prepared to handle the modern-day necessity of immigration. So what can we do to help? Well, this is Chris, the Community Refugee and Immigration Service organization here in Columbus, Ohio. Their mission focuses mostly on the after part of immigration, the resettlement of refugees here in the States. Their workers mostly comprise of former immigrants from a variety of backgrounds, and their board has many accredited individuals from both the Ohio State University and even the Ohio House of Representatives. With over 20 years of legal and community experience, Chris engages with the refugee population of Central Ohio to ease the difficulties that are associated with immigration. Resettlement is not a cheap or easy process. It is estimated that costs are up to $130,000 to relocate a family and situate them in their new environment entirely. The issue is many of these people are coming into the U.S. with no job experience, little formal education, and no support system for them or their families. Volunteering with Chris is a simple and open process that can require no special fields or studies. Simple work like food delivery, office assistance, and even just enrolling into a support network of consultants all go a long way to help out the community. There are some barriers when it comes to reforming and saving immigrants and refugees from difficulties, though. Donations and volunteering can be tough in times with job security and movement restrictions at an all-time high. Casework is a slow and unfulfilling in the short term as well. And finally, systemic issues can only be truly resolved at the source through legal action and reform. However, there are some small things that you can do to mitigate these barriers. Talking to your local representative is a great way to have your voice heard and push for reform. Telling others about refugees, CRIS, and other immigration-related issues can also spread awareness. Finally, don't forget to vote. It's the only real way to get change done in our democracy. Racial tension and immigration both hold serious implications in modern society. The seemingly razor-thin seams that hold us together as a unified country are frayed each time questions of race or expected cultural normalcy is brought up. The legislation and stereotyping further each other to create a hazardous and unsafe environment for foreign citizens. In both mental and physical aspects, their health is put aside to pursue politically fueled agendas instead of humane responsibilities. We must support immigrants and raise the bar for the expected treatment of the disenfranchised in our homes if we hope to make a fair and united country. Thank you.